Alright, Fizzy, here's your VOD review. So, real quick, I am going to be focusing a lot less on strategy and communication and that kind of thing here in this VOD review because it's specifically for you. So I'm going to be spending a lot more time watching for specific mistakes that you make and ways that you could improve rather than the rest of your team, which will hopefully be more productive for you. You make quite a few mistakes and there are quite a few points where I could stop and try to show you how to improve at something, but I don't actually think I can stop for all of them, otherwise we would be here all day. But I'll point out what I think I've got time for then. It should get most of it. So real quick, seeing fire strikes, it didn't end up mattering this time because you got bubbled by the Zarya, which was a pretty good bubble. Usually as Diva you want to eat fire strikes because fire strikes are a tool for the Reinhardt to build his ult faster, and if you eat his fire strikes with your defense matrix, it just makes it take longer for him to get his ult. So, press right click on his fire strikes whenever you can, basically. This was something else I wanted to point out. So right here on your screen is your Mercy's health bar, and you can see whether she's damage boosting or healing you. You can see her username, and most importantly, you can see her health bar. The reason that's there is so that when she gets attacked, like that, you can see her health bar just went down to half. You know she's in trouble, so you can turn around and help her. So when you hear the audio cue of Mercy shouting for help, or when you see this health bar on your screen take damage and you know it's not from a source like a sniper far away, you should turn around and try to help her. Because I think it sounded like there was a tracer on her, and you should turn around and try to help deal with the tracer. So now we have a pick. This is really good. So what you want to do now is you want to all go together in one of these directions. One of those three. You need to pick one, and you need to all go now. It's bronze, so I don't expect a lot of communication. It tends to be very disorganized in matchmaking. But technically, to improve your chance of winning, that's what you should hope to do. Either have your friend get on comms and call to all push a direction, or maybe even do it yourself. This is good. It looks like you're mostly all pushing here. So right here, when you see that you have a friendly hacked health pack, the best thing you can do is just stand on it, especially when you're a tank. Because if you stand on this health pack, it's going to heal you up over time. It'll make it harder for the enemy to kill you, for one. And also, it's going to charge your Sombra's EMP, which is really, really good. EMP is one of the best ultimates in the game, especially because it charges so fast when you have tanks standing on her health packs. So you could probably grab like maybe even 30 or 40% ult charge for your Sombra if you just stand on it right now. That's really bad. I don't know what happened. I don't know why you started looking at the chat. One sec. Oof, allergies. I don't know why you started looking at the chat. Maybe you fat-fingered the chat button, or maybe you got distracted and you wanted to look at it. Either way, try not to do that. It's obviously not a good habit. Yeah, see right here is a really good example of why I think your sensitivity is too high. Watch your crosshair. It's just going all over the place. It looks like that when it should look like this. It should look more like straight lines to wherever you're trying to aim at, but it's going all over the place, which tells me that you're overcorrecting with your aim, which means your sensitivity is too high. Also, it's hard to tell exactly where, but you can hear a Doomfist. Oh, let's change it back to red. You can hear a Doomfist somewhere to your left. You know he just charged and used Rocket Punch, which is his main mobility ability. So now would actually be a pretty good time to turn around and try to fight him if you can see him. So yeah, I would at least turn around, check to see if he's within eyesight. If not, maybe leave it be because your team is making a push on the point now, and it's better to have all 6 of you going in at once. But if you can see him, I would say now is the time to dive him. Again, you have a pick. You've killed the Doomfist, so now is your time to go in. This was a really aggressive play by you, and it actually worked out in your favor. I don't think I would have done it. I think at higher levels of play, you would have been punished more harshly for what you did here, which was just to fly in, displace the Reinhardt, deal a little damage to the Mercy, and just claim some point presence. Your Zarya did a really good thing following you in immediately, by the way. I think at higher levels you would be punished more for that, but here it worked out really well, so good job. You made an aggressive play and you caught the enemy off guard. Now, I'm not sure if you could have eaten it from this range, but it would have been worth trying. You can actually, with Defense Matrix, you can eat Hanzo's Dragon Strike. You can only do it if you catch it like within the first few meters of when he shot it out. You can't actually eat the dragons, but you can eat the arrow that turns into the dragons. And when you hear the audio cue as D.Va, you should immediately turn around to try to find him and hold right click to try and eat the dragons. You should always try to do that. It's a good habit to get into. Now keep shooting at the... When you're as baby D.Va right now in the current meta, you really want to be in your mech pretty much all of the time. You're just better in your mech. So when you're as baby D.Va, unless you know you can get a kill, like help finishing a kill, you should really be aiming at the enemy tanks so you can get your mech back faster. If your accuracy was a little better, you could have killed the hog there, I think. Oh no, he had take a breather. Never mind.
I gotta grab one. Let's go together.
Yeah.
Are we all together?
Not really. Just down
there. I'm not sure what you're doing here, actually. So, you could be walking faster right now. You don't want to just spray D.Va's guns non-stop. It makes you walk slower. So what you should do is you should try to fire your guns, one, when you're using your thrusters, because it doesn't slow you down at all. There's no reason not to fire them unless you're holding Defense Matrix. And two, you want to get as close as possible to the enemy because it's a shotgun. You want to deal as much damage as possible, so you want to really barrel stuff their face. So right now you're actually staggering yourself a little bit by walking slower than everyone else. Here's another good example of the Doomfist having used his mobility. Now would be a good time to potentially dive him. You can see him right here. He's just used up Rocket Punch. You could thruster and rockets into him while also holding primary fire. I believe he's about half now, although you don't know that. And you might get the kill. It would be worth doing. No, he was full, but he is lower now. You should all dive that hog together. He shouldn't have gotten back. This was a very aggressive self-destruct. Sombra actually threw her EMP out at the very last second and got you that kill on the Reinhardt. You got a little bit lucky there that your Sombra was on top of that. I would have waited a little bit before throwing in the self-destruct there. Also, when you heard the meteor strike cue, again, you should have turned around for the Doomfist, and this time you're paying for the fact you didn't, because your Ana is dead. I would have waited a little bit for the self-destruct, wait until the team was closer, but it looks like they're all managing to pile on point now anyways, so it might work out. You should defense matrix as much of this whole hog as possible, because he's trying to take the point back from you right now. He's trying to regain point control so that it's harder for you guys to push into him, and if you don't stop the whole hog, he's going to push you all off the point. Yeah, you got pushed off the point. Right now you're aiming at the Tracer. You should be aiming at the Mercy. And on top of that, you should be aiming for their heads, if anything, not their bodies. You need to be aiming here or here. Instead, you're aiming here. See? Aim for heads, especially when it's an easy shot, like when they're in the Graviton, and especially aim for Mercy's head. Yeah, you can see how shaky your aim is.
Yeah, I did. I thought we were all there and we weren't. So.
Got it. There we go.
The self-destruct was a little premature. You had more value to be gained from your nano. You threw it in while your mech was still nano boosted. You could have waited another 2 seconds before doing it. As it is, it worked out. You got the hog, but you could have waited. You wasted a little bit of the nano boost. This is a situation where you absolutely could have eaten his Dragon Strike right here. Here, let me show it to you. Right now, you can see he's winding up for his ultimate. The arrow hasn't flown yet. He is well within your range for defense matrix right now. If you hold right click, literally right now, where your crosshair is, that Dragon Strike will get eaten. But you didn't, and it went through. I don't think it killed anyone, but you could have eaten it. Your aim is still very shaky. This is a good opportunity. If you can kill these guys, you can go into the next fight 6v3. You could have dove them a lot more aggressively there. Here, I'll go back and show you actually. No, 5 more seconds. You can see their Mercy is here. Just WM1 into her. Hold down W, walk forward, throw out your missiles. I think you just started doing that. And start primary firing her head. And then as soon as your thrusters are off cooldown, you should go in there and chase that Mercy. She's half health. You could probably get the kill.
Go main, go main, go main. I got ult, I got ult.
So what you're doing here is actually fine. It's okay to be pelting the enemy Reinhardt shield with your primary fire as D.Va. It's better if you are a little bit closer than this, and also try to keep the crosshair on the Reinhardt's center, so you're getting as many of the shots onto the shield as possible. D.Va's shield break is actually pretty good, so You can feel free to primary fire into a Reinhardt shield. Kill this Doomfist and make a push. Oh, he's Meteor Strike. You shouldn't have done that. Here, let's back it up, I'll show you. When this Roadhog started whole hogging, your team needed you here to help defense matrix the whole hog so that they could kill the Roadhog. Instead you threw in your self-destruct, which was actually kind of a waste because your Zarya has Graviton, which means you could have comboed very effectively. If the Zarya had thrown Graviton onto the point first, you could have thrown in your ult and gotten a lot more than just the Mercy.
I'm down 2.
See, if you look at the kill feed now, you're actually down 3, so you should back out.
Let's go ahead and group.
My position.
Help with the Doofus. Okay, you're having a lot of trouble finding him. Here, let's back this up. Uh, 5 more seconds. There we go. So you see the Doomfist there, but for some reason you tracked the Ana. When you see red, make sure to track the enemy, not your teammates, because that actually was counterproductive. So now you know he's going towards this doorway to your right. He probably wants to get into your backline again. You should turn around and try to meet him instead of following him, because that's what he wants. He wants to play Ring Around the Rosie to get to your supports. I think when you are using your thrusters, you need to have a better idea of where you're trying to go. Because there are a lot of times where you use your thrusters, and it's almost like as you're flying through the air, you're trying to decide where you want to go. You need to know where you're trying to get to before you use your thrusters.
Yeah, we all grouped up.
Did someone call for?
Are we out here? We need to push.
Yeah, just make sure when you guys go in if you make the step back zone.
Alright, DB, go first. I'll both you. DB, go first. Sorry.
Shift, shift, shift. Thrust her into that Mercy. Thrust her into her. You're letting the Mercy get away. Oh, wait, one more thing. Almost missed it. The enemy hog just hooked your Zarya. What that means is that you can defense matrix onto the Zarya, and the Zarya won't take any damage from the hog. Only do it for a second though, because right afterwards she's going to put up her bubble. Pretty much every time. Your ult kind of whiffed a little bit. Yeah, you looked down at the last second. If you're going to throw your self-destruct straight up in the air, make sure to keep looking straight up in the air till after the self-destruct goes off.
Ryan and Roadhog should still be off point though.
Hey Zara, help me with this Doomfist right here. Watch out, Doomfist behind.
Meteor strike.
Did someone call for this?
Yeah, you can see you're down 2. You shouldn't go in right now. Well, I guess now you... Your Sombra shouldn't have EMP'd there, I don't think. Yeah, you could have waited for one more full regroup. It was a waste of EMP.
Alright, we gotta push.
Their Doomfist isn't very good.
Zarya, back up. I'm gonna go ahead and ult.
You're getting your mech right away as soon as you have it.
Well done.
Use your thrusters into the Mercy every time you can.
Nice.
I got ult.
Good job.
Good work. You actually managed to finish 2 CP. Gonna fast forward now to the defense phase.
Lucio at point. Yeah.
Not gonna go venture in the zone. Doesn't sound like a good idea.
Stevie, you can push since your range is not very big.
What he said is technically true. You can play more aggressively to get more damage, but you really shouldn't here because you're putting yourself out in the open. You had advantageous positioning on the point. You shouldn't have moved up here. And if you did want to move up, you shouldn't have moved to right here. You should have moved to up here with your, I think that's one of your DPS, I can't quite tell. You should have moved to up to this high ground or stayed right here. Instead, you went and stood right in front of them, and I don't believe it ends very well, if I remember correctly. Yeah, you need to get back. There are footsteps on the left.
Going right, going right.
You're down.
If you had thrustered into him and or meleeed him, I think he would have died.
Hanzo right.
Risa discorded. Right? Okay, I'm done.
Here, let's back that up a little bit because there is, I think, a point to be made here. When you hear the Rhine, so we know they're going to the right here. We know that's where they're making a push. We can see it, that they're all pushing right. Now your soldier was quite out of position right there because they were pushing towards him and he didn't back up. That's very, very bad play off of him. Once you see this happening, you're going to need to be a bit more proactive. You need to all take advantage of this side of the point. Use it as a choke point, try to get a pick or make a push into them so that they can't come onto the point. That Orisa shield is poorly placed, it should be on this side. See, you shouldn't be all the way out here, you should be on this side of the point. And this is your death sentence. If you had thrustered and shot and meleeed, I think you could have killed him, but it would have required some pretty good timing off of you.
Hanzo right.
Risa discorded. Right? Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, I think that might be their point. You should probably back up. Yeah, no. That was a mistake. I think you stopped to look at the point cap progress, and that's when you should have decided, yeah, this isn't worth it. Because it's just you and maybe this other guy over here against 4 of them, and they already have 2 ticks on the point. It's not worth it. You shouldn't try to go in here. You should have backed up here. This is going to get you staggered.
Alright, let's move back. Foolish.
I switched off Orisa just because Hog.
Got Fake Crow staggered.
I think we're still good.
Nope, you can't just leave that soldier there drilling into you.
Alright, just
Oh, what the heck? I slipped him.
oh, I'm down again.
Unlucky.
I want to dissect that push a little bit more, because I had something useful to tell you after every
I
push so
switched off
far, but not
Orisa
this one.
Just because Hog, I can get some kills.
This guy should be your priority target here, not these guys in the back. They're no threat to you right now. This guy, however, is going to start drilling into you, and if he knows to aim for your head, he's going to melt your mech really, really fast. So you need to look at him and be focusing on him. You know, put your defense matrix on him, shoot at him, give him a little pressure, make him back off the high ground if you can, stuff like that. Instead, you just let him drill into you. Gets you out of mech, and that way you can't protect your soldier from dying then. If you had defense matrix, he would have been alive there.
Oh, I'm down again.
Unlucky. Hey, good round. Good round. Everyone, thanks.
That was
This.
Prepare your defenses.
I can play Orisa if someone heals.
I can go heals. That's fine.
Yeah, because I play Orisa a lot better than most people do.
That's fine.
Actually,
A lot.
just
Someone heals.
all things considered, you may want to go Junkrat here. Junkrat's really good for a first point hold on Lunar Colony,
Yeah, because I play
because he can
Orisa
discourage
a
the
lot.
enemy from making a push in a direction after they've committed to making a push in that direction. It's really, really good at lower ranks. Even at higher ranks, it tends to work.
Like, I'm not saying you're bad, dude. Don't worry.
Yeah, I would have gone Junkrat here. Let somebody else off tank, because I know you have a good Junkrat in your pocket.
Do you want to play TPS?
sure any
Missing
anyone you
me.
have not.
Attackers incoming in
Like, probably Soldier, just to participate.
Okay.
I can play. Yeah, if you want to play healer, that's fine. I literally flex, so it doesn't matter to me.
Alright, I'm good with soldier.
Perfect.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
You can see someone pushing to the left if they catch you off guard. This is too aggressive here. If you get caught out here without your thrusters, you're going to be downed.
I'm just down.
You could thruster missiles into this Hanzo. Both at the same time, though. Actually, now that I mention it, I don't think I've seen you do that once, so I should cover this. Right now, in her current state, D.Va has a combo she can do to melt characters with 200 HP very, very quickly, which is you thruster into them, you hold primary fire, and you use your micro missiles. And then at the very end of the thruster, right after you bump into them, you melee them. And together, that is a huge burst of damage all of a sudden. Depending on how many micro missiles hit, you could kill the enemy in like a second. Because I don't remember how much damage it is from the thrusters, but then the melee is like 30. Primary fire is a bunch. You should try to do that.
The right to remain. Oh.
Eat that fire strike. Should have eaten it. I hear footsteps on the right. It's Tracer. Yeah, you could do the combo into Reinhardt here. Put some damage into him. That's another one that I'm not sure you could have eaten, but it would have been worth trying.
Your mind's on cancel. Clear the point. I'm not a good mover.
Our objective will soon belong to the enemy.
My ultimate is ready. I'm gonna have to shoot you down.
And we will succumb.
Alright, I'm almost there, guys.
All systems check out.
Looking at the board right here, you should be touching point as much as possible. Because you don't know if your team is going to get melted all of a sudden. That you could have eaten. I'm sure you could have eaten that. That dragon strike there.
Tracer, just go.
Your squishies need help in the back. You need to get back there and start pelting into the Reinhardt. No, they're not the Orisa shield. The Orisa shield is good at taking sustained damage. You should be on the Reinhardt shield or attacking their backline.
Ejecting.
So just run on point.
Yeah, that's too bad. Alright, so,
We're good,
yeah, there were a lot of things you can start to improve. For one, definitely try to lower your sensitivity, because right now your aim is all over the place. Lower your sensitivity and really, for your next few games when you're playing D.Va, really like put some focus on tracking your targets and try to make it as smooth as possible. Just try to train yourself to build that muscle memory. Also, when you're using your thrusters, make sure you know where you're trying to get to. Don't just use them whenever you think you can. Use the thrusters, melee, micro missile, primary fire combo. I don't know if there's a better name for it than that. It's really, really good for deleting people in the enemy backline or for making the enemy tank think twice about what he's trying to do. Let's see, what else? Oh, aggressive plays like what you were doing are fine, but don't rely on them because at higher ranks you're going to get punished for them more. So things like flying in alone to disrupt the enemy Reinhardt, they'll work at low ranks, but I think around probably high silver or low gold, you're going to start getting more punished for that. I think that's it. Overall, not bad. It was a fun game to watch. Alright, there you go. Bye-bye.